Aloha, beautiful people. Welcome to Friday Fire. This is your jam-packed boost of magic, tools, inspiration, insights leading you into the weekend. This is a special format on the podcast. And today I'm excited to dive into intuition. So this is the missing piece on intuition. And what I notice so much is this rhetoric of just follow your intuition, listen to your intuition, trust your intuition. And nobody ever talks about, like, hey, how do I actually do that? How do I actually do that? So it's one of those things where people are told to do something and then they're not giving the steps how. And it's not about spoon feeding your transformation to you. However, there's a lot that people don't talk about with intuition. So today I'm really going to share the missing piece on intuition. So if you're somebody who has been building a relationship with your intuition, if you don't know what your intuition feels like, sounds like, tastes like, smells like, if this is just a topic that you want to go deeper on, if you want a new lens on this topic, like, this can and will change your life, I swear. So the missing piece on intuition, when I first started exploring my intuition, it really wasn't until, I want to say, 2018, which is, we're in 2024 now. So 6 years out of 32 years being alive. That's not that much. Okay. That's when I really started exploring my intuition. And I remember asking my coach at the time, I was like, but how do you know what's your intuition and what's your programming and what's fear? And I'm blah, 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 blah. And here's the thing about intuition. You ready? It's an uncomfortable personal process, especially at first. It's an uncomfortable personal process that you must discover for yourself. You're going to discover, hey, this is the place in my body that I feel my intuition. You're going to notice, what does it feel like? And then you're going to gradually be able to notice, okay, what does it feel like when I'm overriding it? Right? But you're never going to know until you get in the game of exploring. Let it be an experiment. Okay. It's an uncomfortable experiment at first because you literally don't know which way is up. You're like, wait, is this my intuition or is this fear? Is this, is this that? And it's like, I just want to encourage you, cheer you on, inspire you, embolden you to stay in that uncomfortable process. It will be uncomfortable because uncomfortable just means different and just means change. And if you're on the path of discovering your intuition and deepening your relationship with your intuition, it's going to be new. So let yourself be in the uncomfortable process of figuring out what it means for you. All right. It's not going to mean the same. Like, I think there are general threads that apply to everyone. However, you are a unique soul. You're a unique person and you're going to experience it differently. And letting yourself be in that process, let yourself be in the journey of it. Okay. And you will discover, here's the thing that I've come to a lot lately. It's not how, it's now. It's not out now. And I always mess it up because it's such a rhyme. It's not how, it's now. So many people get caught up in the how, and then they never take action on doing something now. And I'm a strategist. I teach the how. However, no one will ever be able to discover, learn, experience the how until they decide at some point, it's now. Now I'm all in. Now I say yes. Now I'm experimenting. Now I take the action. So the how, and which you will discover in your uncomfortable personal process, is what you will get after you take the now action. You feel me on that? You feel me on that? Okay, so here's the real missing piece. There's several missing pieces, but I think this one is the most powerful one. First of all, it's a personal process that only you can go through. And it's going to be uncomfortable at first, especially if you've lived a life where you haven't trusted your intuition or known your intuition or really been in relationship with it. Okay. That was me for a really, really, really long time. And here's the other thing is, like, I don't think we can ever not have our intuition, but we can override it and we can be numb to it. So that leads me to the missing piece on intuition. You will never, because the biggest question I get, and the biggest question that I was asking when I first started out on my like living for my intuition, is like, how do I know if it's intuition or fear though? How do I know if it's intuition or fear? And something that came up for me a lot would be like walking home at night in the city alone. And I'm like, and there's so many different layers to this, but I remember being like, I crossed the street because I was alone. It was super late at night, and there was a big man walking toward me who was also Black. And I just felt like my body, I was like, I just need to cross the street. And then I got over to the other side of the street and I was like, oh my God, am I a racist? Like, oh my God, was that fear or was that my intuition? And I was just like totally in this whole thing of like, how do I know? How do I know if it's intuition or fear? Like, how do I know? And here's the thing, you will never know the difference between fear and intuition unless you consistently reset and heal your nervous system from the root. You will never know. You will never know, my love. And I say that because I experienced that, and I see my clients experience it again and again and again and again and again and again and again. They move out of fear and they move into intuition and the truth of their body, and they know exactly what to do through this nervous system regulation and healing and reset. If you're constantly in fight or flight, you will not be able to access your intuition. You will constantly be in a fear response, whether it's real or make believe, which, there's very real fear, and we have that for a reason. That's our survival. That's like, if there was a fire in my house, I would run out of the house to stay alive, right? However, our bodies are being programmed to believe that we are in peril when we're not. And so they're overactive. They're way overactive. And so this is why this is the missing piece on intuition. If you're not doing deep rooted nervous system healing consistently, you will not be able to access your intuition fully and know the difference between fear and intuition. So people don't talk about that. People don't say that. People just say, oh, trust your intuition, follow your intuition. But there's people around the world, they're like, yo, I don't even know what that is. Like, how do I know? How do I even know? And this is how you let it be an uncomfortable process. And the only way you will know the difference between fear and intuition is coming from a regulated, healed nervous system. That's the only way. And so here are some other ideas that I invite you to explore, play with. Okay, this idea of being uncomfortable versus unsafe. And so in my journey, I actually, and I find this is the direct opposite of a lot of my clients. This is what I notice about a lot of my clients. Either they are super, super, super in their feminine, and I serve as like a holy fortress of, hey, we got to have some masculine to hold all your magic. And the other side of the spectrum is, I don't know if I've ever had this, honestly. People that just work and work and work and work and work and work and work. I think that honestly, most of my clients have been people who are seeking healing, but also structure. They need the structure. Okay. Most one of the most important things we can differentiate is being uncomfortable versus being unsafe. And in my personal journey with intuition, I actually put myself in unsafe situations, like truly unsafe situations, in the pursuit of being uncomfortable. Because as a highly trained high performer in classical music, I knew the power of making myself uncomfortable to grow, to win. And I put myself in many situations that in hindsight were actually unsafe, that went against my intuition, because I would just play it off as like, oh, I'm just uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable. I'm just on my growth edge. And this actually appeared with, there's a lot of like abusive teaching in the music industry, in classical music. And I ignored my intuition a lot of times because I was like, I'm just uncomfortable. But it actually was unsafe. It wasn't good. My intuition was going off and I just overrid it. And so I don't know if that resonates with you, but something that you will discover in this process is the difference between something being unsafe and being uncomfortable. And so really, really trusting that. But here's the next idea is something I know about intuition is it's not panic. It doesn't feel frantic and it doesn't feel panicked. It is a methodical, deep knowing that you act on swiftly. It's not a panic. So that's a huge thing just that I noticed for myself and my clients. And the other thing is it's not coming from the mind, it's coming from the body. Your intuition will come from the body. It'll be a visceral knowing. But again, like your body will also, if you don't have a regulated nervous system, convince you that you're in danger all day, every day. So this is why I'm saying like none of this can truly be accessed until you just live out your experiment, discover what it means for you, and come at it from a healed nervous system. But the mind will tell you a tall tale, be like, you're unsafe, you're unsafe, you're unsafe, you're unsafe, you're unsafe. And your body will be like, it'll just like drop in. So, and a big thing about intuition is like trusting your yes just as much as your no. A lot of people talk about intuition and they're like, oh yeah, you trust your no, but it's like, what about your yes? Because I know I'm thinking of a very specific situation where someone asked me out and I just had the biggest yes on the inside. And then I said no, because, it's a whole story, but like I was seeing someone else and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, but my intuition was like a really big hell yes. And, that's also just goes to show you that it's a lifelong process of building a relationship with your intuition. And it's not about perfection, but it's just like a relationship that you build trust with. So let it be a process. And I want you to know this missing piece is like, if you're having a challenge with, hey, is this intuition or fear? Hey, am I uncomfortable or unsafe? Like, hey, is this my mind or my body? Like, you will not build a fortified, lasting relationship with your intuition that you can trust until you consistently reset and heal your nervous system. So, yeah. This is the missing piece on intuition, and I hope it helps you. I hope it serves you. I hope it gives you a new lens on this, thing that people talk about so much, but never actually explain. This has been Friday Fire. I hope you have an amazing weekend. If you want to go deeper into this work, and especially just this idea of intuition, my recommendations are book a one-on-one session with me, and then you'll discover like what I mean about all the intuition through breath work. All right. That is my recommendation. Or if you want more of a group experience, join New Earth Temple, we do consistent breath work every new moon and full moon, and it's for spiritual leaders, and it's amazing, and we're changing the world. So join us, and yeah, I'm sending you a beautiful weekend of magic, joy, and a deepening and an opening in your relationship with intuition, because now you got that missing piece. Love you. Go out there, make a stranger smile, and I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.